So today we are going to talk about the fourth F word. So the first three are fight, flight, freeze, and the fourth one is fuse. So all of these come from a place of fear. So they are the way that your body acts when you are in fear, when there is terror. And for probably 35, 40 years, psychology has looked at the fight and the flight and the freeze. But when we get into what is really going on, it's my belief that there is so many more people, especially empaths, codependents, that type of person who is really seeking connection, where when terror happens, you actually do something called fuse. And this is a neurological experience. All of these are neurological experiences. And what I want to explain is that in your body, you have your nervous system, and you have billions and billions of neurons, and each of us do. And we are responsible for allocating those neurons wherever we allocate them. So that means that if you want to allocate to learning something, if you're a gymnast, then you allocate a certain number of your neurons to understanding the art of gymnastics and to building your body for gymnastics and eating the foods that you want to build your body and build your health for gymnastics. And if you're an engineer, you allocate your neurons to that. And if you are somebody who is obsessed with money or pornography, you are allocating your neurons to that. So you've got billions of neurons, and it is our responsibility, your responsibility, to identify where those neurons are. That's essentially what addiction is when someone has unconsciously allocated their neurons to something that's not healthy. So the problem is that we don't know this when we're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. And so we begin to allocate, just really as we're building our sense of self in the world, we begin to allocate our neurons in different areas. And let's say you have 100 billion neurons in your body that you can allocate. We have a certain number of neurons, just the way humans are, that are mirror neurons. And those neurons are the neurons that are actually in your body that are mirroring. They're getting information from another person, and they're mirroring that. They're actually going back, and they're beginning to act and give and diagnose what is going on for another person, down to what is their heart rate, what is their blood pressure, what's going on in their moods, what are they thinking, not sort of like telepathically, but yes, telepathically, what is the vibration, what are their neurotransmitters doing in their body. That is coming in. Most of us, this is coming in on a really unconscious level, but it is coming into our system. So we've got these mirror neurons that are helping us diagnose essentially threats outside of ourselves. The problem is that, especially with empaths, you are going to likely allocate more of your neurons to these mirror neurons. And you begin to actually really set your neurons to be reading what another person's whole system is doing. This is a big reason for the massive amount of anxiety that we have, is that your nervous system is your own diagnostic tool. It is there in your body to tell you how your liver is doing, how your stomach is doing, how your digestion is doing, what your heart is doing, what your lungs are doing. So that is a big piece, your central nervous system, that's giving your brain information. And as you begin to move more and more and more of your neurons into connecting to what is going on for another person, the reason that you're going to have a lot of anxiety is that your system is saying, first of all, I'm getting information that doesn't align with what's really going on in my body. Okay, so that's sort of the beginning setup for someone who is likely to fuse when they are in fear. What happens is you are anxious and you can't ground into your own body, and then you get into terror. And I'm going to set this up in a sense that let's just assume that this person is, somewhat more aggressive. So you are going to have a place where they are going to, sort of demand that you come into their reality. So right there, that's a threat. Someone demanding you coming into their reality. That is going to be a threat for an empath system. And so what you'll end up doing is you will begin to actually fuse to what is going on for them. Now, when you fuse to what is going on for somebody, you actually lose yourself. What comes back is the information that's going on for them. So they become right. Their reality becomes right. That messaging your body doesn't know, and so it sends it up into your brain, and what was true and right and real for you is no longer true and right and real for you. It is what is going on for them. This can be as big as not being attracted to somebody, and then you get closer to them, literally physically closer to them. Are you really attracted to them, or are you so fused to their experience that you're running that attraction? This is a real mind screw. My heart breaks. I've lived this, and my heart breaks for people who are living this, because this is such a basic loss of a sense of self. Okay, so I hope always, after I sort of explain something that's going on, that I can give some sort of solution. So what do you do if you are a fuser? I made this little, the fuser finds the abuser, and I do think that often happens is that there's usually somebody who really needs someone to fuse to them to give them their own sense of self. So you've got to be really careful of that. And really what you want to do is you want to figure out how to create boundaries. This is really all about boundaries. And it's sort of, what are the limits, which is where do you want to allocate your neural information? So as wonderful as it is to be compassionate and to be empathic, there's a place in which the fuser really, really needs to refuse another person's information and come back into their body. How do you do that? I think it's really best to understand that your neurons have consciousness, which means that those 100 billion neurons can actually be connected to consciously. You can begin a conscious conversation moving into your body and telling these neurons that they are here to diagnose and to be inside you, really, really connecting to what is true for you. So as always, it's about getting into your body, and just let's go ahead right now and imagine that your body is as it really is, and you have billions and billions of neurons. And just imagine your body as these billions of cells. And right now, connect consciously to them and thank them so much for how they believed that the safest thing they could have done was to get information of things that were threatening. And just ground them back into your own skin, into your own muscles, into your own bones, and just pull them back in. And feel the calm as your system begins just to diagnose your own body. And feel the calm of the chemicals now coming down from your brain, knowing you're with yourself. And just really ground down. Feel your neurons connecting back to you. infusing back in to your own being. Awesome. So that's, just remember, you are a work in progress. We all are. Life is so much about learning and really transforming and understanding what's going on for you. Hold on to your boundaries. Recognize, don't beat yourself up about this. You fused, and the way you fused at some point was a way that you had to survive, but that's no longer, and it's not about surviving anymore. It's about thriving, and you can thrive once you get down embodied and really get back down into your body. As always, one of the things that helped me the most was this form of meditation, which I have called and named and made a company called Metagration. And it is actually getting in to your organs and your glands and your cells on such a deep level, and reconnecting and recognizing what you can do consciously. There's a great anxiety series. I really suggest that to anyone that is really needing to come back into their body. And you can either check that out at metagration.com, or there is on YouTube a bunch of free 1-minute metagrations that are these like mini metagrations, just bringing you back into your body. And any one of those will pull your neurons in and refuse you to you. So let's get connected.